What sounds like good advice but isn't? Want that job? Just keep calling to check on the position. It ingrains you in the hiring manager's mind and makes them consider you more when your resume makes it to the top of their stack. Apostrophe. How it really works, the manager goes through the stack of resumes, finds yours, and throws it out, then sends you a polite rejection email. You're meant to think the squeaky wheel gets the grease, but in reality, they just replace the wheel. Another thing I used to get told all the time was that I should go directly to the business I want to get hired at to give them my resume. The logic is that it shows you really want the job and they'll take your resume for consideration. The reality is that most places, even before COVID-19, don't appreciate a random stranger walking in asking for a job. 99 times out of 100, they'll just tell you to apply online. The hiring process has become way more impersonal nowadays, unlike in the 80s and early 90s, when this behavior was the norm. Marry a doctor so you can live a better life. My parents were never like this, but I had aunts and uncles who would tell their kids this regularly. My wife married a doctor when I was still in college. 13 years ago. I'm finishing training next year with $450k in debt and have spent the last 8 years working 60 to 90 hour weeks. It's a sweet life, man. Great advice, especially if it's just for the money. /s 450k? Question mark. WTF. You up. Good thing all doctors are rich. /s. Really though? Med school is crazy expensive these days and we spent 7 to 11 years not making enough money to make payments on loans, so the interest just builds. I always had to take out the maximum amount because I'm married and have kids, so there's the debt. Just do what you love. It sounds great, but a lot of people aren't good at what they love. It's important to do things you love, but find a way to make a living too. If you get a job doing what you love, you will never work another day in your life. Apostrophe. Pretty quick way to murder all your favorite hobbies and leave yourself with no means of escape or unwinding in your personal time. Happened to me when I transitioned from meditative painting to freelance artist. Biggest advice I give to aspiring artists, especially those who love drawing all day long and do nothing else before going into art full time. Find a love for something completely unrelated to it. Absolutely. Better advice is, get a job doing something you like, and if that's not available yet, then something you can at least tolerate, and save the things you love for your free time. Being bullied? Just ignore them. Just be yourself. Apostrophe. At heart, this isn't bad advice, but it is too vague to really be useful to someone who needs it. Better put, be cognizant that you want to make a good impression, but don't do it in a way that misrepresents who you are or makes you uncomfortable. I like be the best version of yourself more. Spend some time and do some introspection. Keep the parts you like. Make a plan to change or eliminate the parts you don't like. Not easy, but very rewarding. Took me too long to figure out that's what people actually mean when they say just be yourself. Be the best version of yourself is what everyone else is doing all the time. You're behind if you are just being yourself. Always stick with family/blood is thicker than water. Just because someone is blood related doesn't mean you should keep them around. Blood is also caustic. Apparently every Redditor who has family issues. Any advice that doesn't include nuance is bad advice. Any advice followed without honest self-assessment is bad advice. I completely agree. People often see things in a much more black and white way than they should. Ironically, your statement is a rare example of something without nuance. That is still absolutely true. Everything in moderation. Especially moderation. Nothing is more important than family. Apostrophe. If you enjoy your family and they support you, great advice. Otherwise, pretty much says you're stuck with abuse. Apostrophe. Never give up. Sometimes you do need to give something up and no. Edit. OMG, thank you kind Redditors for all the awards and upvotes. Exclamation mark. There's a difference between bravery and foolishness. Truth be told, the difference between bravery and foolishness depends on how the story ends. Fight a lion and win. You're brave. fight the same lion and lose. You're foolish. That which doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Yeah. Sometimes what doesn't kill you makes you a quadriplegic. Talk to ours. They want to help you. Ours is there to protect the company, not the worker. That's why it's called human resources and not employee satisfaction. It's not resources for employees. The employees are the resource. What's best for you as a person isn't always in sync with what is in the company's interest. People go to ours about things they don't feel comfortable going to their manager about, but don't realize that the first thing ours will do is tell your manager. The only exception is if your manager may have violated policy, in which case they will go to your manager's manager. Ours doesn't have some sort of commitment to secrecy. They aren't your psychologist. Calm down. Okay, first of all, to be fair, calming down would actually help. Near always. Telling someone to calm down. Less so. Don't go to bed angry with your significant other. Sometimes you just need to sleep on things and take time to cool down. Especially if you're like me and grouchy AF when you're tired. Don't try to force a resolution to a conflict. Agreed. Late night arguments get exponentially worse when one or both of you is tired, cranky, and worried about being able to get enough sleep for work the next day. The longer the argument goes on, the more those factors will increase intensity of the argument, not lessen it. I agree. But no matter how mad we are, we always say I love you before going to bed. Just be positive. Instructions unclear. Been sent to quarantine. Forgive and forget. Always forgive. But forgetting only tells the person that you don't value yourself enough to not allow it to happen again. So no, I will forgive you and remember how you screwed me over so that you can't do it to me again. You don't always need to forgive. You don't have to be angry. You can still find peace and let go of what happened. You don't owe anyone your forgiveness. Stop crying. Crying doesn't solve the problem. Crying will only make it hurt more. I'll give you a reason to cry. I remember my parents saying this. I thought they were going to beat me, but instead they tanked the housing market. Eat all the food on your plate. My mom stopped using the starving kids in Africa line when I told her to box it up and send it to them. I got my butt whooped and grounded for probably longer than necessary, but she didn't use that line again. So, when mother tried the starving kids in India line, and I had the same comeback. She didn't stop until I referred her to a specific charity where she could sponsor a child in a poor country. Follow your dreams. This one hits home for me. I was a hobbyist baker for years and finally decided to follow my dreams and quit my job to start a bakery. Turns out, baking bread at my leisure from the comfort of my home is much different than getting up at 2 AM to bake bread just so I can keep the lights on. People keep asking me why I don't cook/bake professionally. I say because I enjoy doing it. This is truly the most standard rhetoric you see on /r/askculinary or /r/chefit. Some 17y/o will post, "Hey, I have a full ride scholarship to this university, but I really want to be a chef and go to culinary school. What do you think I should do?" Or the replies will be a bunch of chefs angrily telling them to go to school and just cook as a hobby. Culinary school is also mostly a waste of time. And this is coming from someone who worked at a culinary school. Broke, just be yourself. Woke, be the best version of yourself. Largest brain, be the best neighbor Mr. Rogers knows you can be. I remember reading "You are not the person Mr. Rogers knows you could be," and it honestly made me take a long depressing look at myself. Mr. Rogers' car was stolen, and it made the local news. The next day it was back where he'd left it with a note saying we wouldn't have taken it if we'd known it was yours. Him being disappointed in them was enough to make them bring it back. Let me tell you about this timeshare. Great investment. Think about all the money you'll save on vacation. Buying a home? Make sure you buy the home of your dreams. The biggest, most updated one you can't afford. You only live once. Can't find what you live within your budget? Well, buy a shithole at your budget limit and flip it. Of course. Don't include maintenance, incidentals, or a safety net into your exercise. There's so many more. Adulting, in the US at least, sucks. It's a minefield of bad or outdated advice and outright scams. It's exhausting. I hate that second one so much. I bought in an area that I figured would take off in the next 10 years, which it did. Small/modest house which now has mortgage payments under half of the going rent for the area. Everyone knows the real estate cliche of location, location, location. It hasn't changed. It is still exactly as relevant as always. Find something decent and affordable in an area that will be ideal. If you wait for it to be the place everyone wants to live, you won't be able to afford it. Listen to your parents, for they know what's best for you. To anyone with mental health issues, just get over it. It's all in your head. I know, bitch. Hey man. Just get over your diabetes. It's all just in your pancreas. Just get over your carpal tunnel. It's all in your wrists. Get over your asthma. It's all in your lungs. If you don't tell your partner absolutely everything, then you don't have a good relationship. A good relationship is when you both have secrets and none of you care about them. Of course there are secrets and there are secrets. There are always natural questions that can go unanswered. But if you don't get a pool soon, you might want to fire the pool boy. Don't let it bother you. You're entitled to your emotions, and expressing them in a healthy way is paramount to good mental health. Hang in there for people with depression. Come on. Don't be sad. Thanks, Diane. I would have never thought of that. I'm cured. Even worse, when they start listing things you should be grateful or happy for. If anything, that just makes it worse. We know, objectively speaking, that some people have it worse than us. Telling us just makes us feel guilty about something we can't control. Telling someone that they have plenty to be happy about is like telling someone having an asthma attack, just breathe. There's plenty of air in the room. You can only die once, but can you really die twice? To help combat coronavirus, add some ammonia to bleach for cleaning solution. That will kill 100% of the virus and other germs. I always love to start the day off with a fresh glass of mustard gas. That makes chloramine gas, not mustard gas. Treat people the way you want to be treated. No, treat people the way they want to be treated. As an introvert, this took me an embarrassingly long time to work out. Same. I'm super introverted, and now I think some of my friends either hate me or think that I hate them. Respect your elders. Not all elders deserve to be respected. Not all people deserve to be respected. I respect people until I have reason not to. Save it for a rainy day. I used to take this too literally, like I was being selfish for enjoying something now instead of saving it for later. For example, I would do stupid stuff like delay using coupons for free items or experiences, because I felt it was more mature and disciplined to save the treat for later. Eventually and inevitably, the coupon would expire. Another silly example would be not opening a good bottle of wine, like I didn't deserve it now, and it would be smarter to save it for some abstract time in the future. Please listen to some words of wisdom from an old timer. The past is history. Tomorrow a mystery. All we have is the present moment, and it's called the present because it's a gift. I'm not saying don't think about the future. Plans are good. Just remember to treat yourself along the way. Success is a journey, not a destination. I'm guessing that you're the type of person to beat the game without using the maximum potions, because you might need them later. The key to having great conversations is asking a lot of questions. People love talking about themselves. I was sat next to an acquaintance I barely knew at a dinner event. I wanted to be friendly and make conversation, so I asked a lot about his work, his travels, and so on. At one point he said, not jokingly, "So what is this? An interrogation?" I stopped talking to him after that, but I also learned a lesson. You shouldn't care about other people's opinions. Follow your heart. My heart is a jerk, and love means nothing when the person you love is abusive. Also at 6 AM my heart says quit your job. Healthcare and money is not important. Do as I say, not as I do. except there's many times this applies just fine. If I've been doing something for 30 years and am extremely good at it, the way I do it and the way you should be doing it to learn aren't the same. If I'm teaching you, I won't be getting you to do things how I do them. It'll be teaching you the correct way. Then as you get more experienced you can decide for yourself how you'd like to change things up. But for now, do as I say, not what I do. In other words, you have to learn the rules before you can know how to break them safely. Extremely well put. Most people see an expert just barge in and do things, not realizing just how much they've checked and what prep work has gone into being able to do that. Violence is never the answer. Sometimes it very much is. Sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. Semicolon. Biggest lie ever told. Sticks and stones may break my bones, but words can leave massive emotional scars which last a lifetime. You should smile more. Close bracket. Thankfully don't have to hear this one so much right now with mask mandates in place everywhere. Don't judge a book by its cover. If it walks like a duck and quacks like a duck, it's a duck. Always be kind. The absolute worst for your mental health. It better to teach our children that there will always be toxic unhealthy people around us, and it is in our best interest to limit contact with them. Very rarely should you ever bend over backwards for people. Put yourself first, baby girl. Listen to your heart. There's nothing else you can do. Hey PSSST. Please subscribe and like.